stove. Come here for a second. I just need to get some attention real quick. Oh, crap, my tube broke.
If you guys have an empty seat next to you, please raise your hand. An empty seat next to you. So we can get people... Come on over this way, guys. There's some empty seats up here. We're almost full, yay! And scooch over, scoot in if you can.
I also see some friends coming in. Hi, friends.
Hello.
Go, Maya, go. Maya, is Paul here? Is Paul here? Oh, he is? Awesome. Oh, tell him to hurry up. We're getting packed.
Sonic did all that.
What an asshole!
What an asshole! Worst of the year. That'll never be continued. That was never continued. Welcome to Dr. Eggman, A History of Hedgehog Hatred. All right. We are going to be going over a lot today. We have a lot to get through. We don't have a lot of time, so we might skip past some stuff, but we are going to be trying to do as comprehensive a history of Dr. Eggman, Robotnik, whatever you call him, as we possibly can, covering every single major appearance, obscure fun facts, and everything in between.
But first, we like to introduce ourselves. I'm Slimebag, or Sam Quinn. I just really like Sonic the Hedgehog. I used to spend a lot of time on Sprite forums.
Boo!
I'm sorry. Someone's got to do
it. And I'm Della. I have an Eggman tattoo. Yeah. You don't get to see it. You don't get to see it. You do not get to see it.
Only lucky people do.
We met at MAGFest around 10 years ago.
It's our MAGiversary. Wait, that sounds really weird to say.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. We met through a shared love of Undertale, but quickly discovered our shared passion with Sonic the Hedgehog. Just quick special thanks before we go in. A lot of these people contributed to the panel. My mom last night had to drive from New Jersey to Delaware to grab half the shit for the panel once I forgot it. So quick shout out to my mom.
We also want to give a very specific shout out to Steve Holden over here, who is our gritty hitting, dabbing Eggman.
So a couple rules to go over first. When we hold this, you're gonna cheer. When we hold this, you can boo. Boo. When you see your favorite Eggman, you can go absolutely freaking nuts. We are gonna try to rank them on certain qualities before this is over, but we need to go over a few more important rules, starting with the most important one. No fun allowed. Boo. Shut up, you're having fun.
Get out!
There's a couple more rules we need to go over, of course. No laughing, no exercise, no singing, no friends, no plants, no pets, no music, no fun, no books, no healthy food, no skibbity toilet, no Ohio, no Riz, no digital circus, no lanky box, no Sigma, no Ice Spice, no Rizzler, no Gyat, and no YouTube Shorts.
I'm looking at you, Brandon. None of that.
Now I apologize little fucked up, but you're gonna get what you're gonna get. What are the unique things that make Eggman Eggman? These are present across every single incarnation of Eggman.
Well, I mean, we should start from the beginning. He is bald.
He is bald.
In all of his gloriousness. He has a big orange mustache. Not this one, but usually he does.
He loves himself, like we all should. He's very egocentric.
But he has a reason to be egocentric because he is a genius.
And he hates the environment. Sonic the Hedgehog is constantly going to be a conflict between nature and, humanity, just in general.
And it's great, too, because his color motif, the red, yellow, black, is kind of a direct parallel to Sonic, you should say. But the most important thing of all...
He hates that hedgehog!
He hates that little motherfucker, that fucking rat.
So, that stupid rat. Stupid rat. Fuck that hedgehog. All right, real quick, we gotta clear the name thing up. Okay, so this is largely gonna depend on where you grew up. I am sorry about the text. This is gonna depend on where you grew up and when you grew up. If you know him as Eggman, congratulations, he was always Eggman. They changed his name to Robotnik for the Americanization at the hands of Dean Sitton. Eventually, with the release of Sonic Adventure in what year was that?
It was like 2000?
Sure. Whatever.
Time isn't real.
They decided that Robotnik would be his real name and Eggman would be his alias. So, to recap, Doctor is his title.
Evo is his first name, and it's specifically Evo.
It is very specifically Evo. A lot of people, even the movies, get that wrong. But Dean Sitton originally intended it to be Evo, pronounced like evil. You can hear Mike Pollock say it in like Tails Tube and all that. Robotnik is his surname, Eggman is his alias. And again, I just am sorry about the slide text, but of course we need to talk about his origin story, which was also given to him by Dean Sitton. Once upon a time, there was a lovely man named Dr. Kintober who really wanted to help animals. So he helps a little brown hedgehog become blue. He's really trying to study those Chaos Emeralds. And after an accident involving a rotten egg and chaos energy, Kintober absorbs the negative energy from the emeralds and becomes the evil Dr. Robotnik. Why they did not call him Eggman in America is a mystery to me when he literally becomes an Eggman.
Literally hatches. Exactly.
Yuji Naka knew about none of this.
And if he did, he said he wouldn't have approved it anyways, but maybe it's a good thing that he
Yeah, he's like, it's a good thing in the past, but in the past I would have been fucking furious about this. But we gotta talk about, he doesn't have a real origin story now. Like, it's kind of nebulous. One of those dudes is his dad. He comes from a very long line of scientists.
And he's also kind of got some daddy issues along the lines. He struggles a little bit with self-doubt.
Just a little. Well, he kind of resents his cousin Maria. These are the only canon family members of Robotnik.
Canon, specifically.
Canon, specifically to the games. Professor Gerald Robotnik, a respected scientist who was murdered by a firing squad and did not dance with Jim Carrey. And Maria Robotnik, who also, just fucking dies. We all know that. But
the one that you all cheer for at the Sonic Symphony when she gets shot.
Now, if like really, it's kind of more like this.
Yeah.
I would kind of be a little upset if I had a tangential connection to an alien warlord and a failed wizard.
Also, if my uncle was a hedgehog, I'd kind of have some issues too.
If Shadow was my uncle, I'd love him. But all that aside, we got to talk about where he really started. This was the original Eggman design.
That's where I come in, and I love this stuff. So this was originally designed by Naoto Oshima, and anybody who knows anything about Sonic knows that is the original creator of the Sonic design. Now, this was from an in-house contest at Sega to design their new mascot character, because they really wanted to compete with Mario, right?
Alex Kidd was doing nothing.
Oh gosh, I think this is even better than Mario, personally speaking, but this was one of the draft designs that Oshima came up with. Look at that cute little propeller hat. Doesn't he look so jolly?
He slaps people with his pillow. He's great.
He looks like he's ready for a nap. I'm like with them, dude.
He's great.
But they liked the design so much that they decided, we should do something with it, right?
Well, first they turned him into a bee.
Yeah, he's a bee in this.
Yeah.
Nobody really knows why he's just a bee.
Early game design, that guy, the guy in the back, he was going to be the main villain, and then that bee guy, he would be kind of like a little side boss. And then, of course, they changed it, and we get this absolute perfection. Look at him. Absolutely no notes. No notes whatsoever. This
is what peak male physique
Couple things about this. This is just the basis for every Eggman design. A lot of people interpret this design as a cape, and later on they interpret it as a cape. It's supposed to be a collar, like a sea cadet collar. So he kind of looks like a walrus. Like the triangles on the front are the walrus tusks, and his stash are the whiskers over them.
Wait a second, walrus?
Walrus, yeah.
Eggman?
Is he the fifth Beetle?
Yeah.
Is he the fifth Beetle?
I don't think John Lennon would like him very much, personally.
Kind of nebulous. A lot of people really think there's a connection. Never confirmed. Could be. Now, one more thing about that American design, his eyes. His eyes are normally covered up by those little pince-nez, of course, but then certain people in America decided they would interpret these as hollow, black, horrifying. He's got a beard there. Absolutely terrible. Now, the thing is, the Deacon did this. They gave him red pupils, but he's always had white eyes and everything signed off by from Sega. Now, can anyone tell me the game Eggman first debuted in?
Wrong!
It was Puzzle Collection.
It was a puzzle game, you idiots! So he actually first premiered on a video game console called the Tetra Drive, even. It's just a puzzle game, but he's there.
He's there. But then we get into the real meat and potatoes. And of course, we have to talk about his appearance in the greatest game of all time, Eggman. Eggman 1, to be official.
Eggman the Human.
Eggman the Human 1. He really wants the 6 Chaos Emeralds.
Remember, 6. Keep that number in mind.
6. I mean, imagine someone turning the squirrels in your neighborhood into robots. That'd be fucked up.
It would be fucked up.
That would be fucked up.
And again, like we had this conversation, when you really think about it, Sonic 1 is just like the Lorax.
Yeah.
There's this little whimsical creature that's going around trying to save the environment
from a faceless representative of humanity.
Exactly.
Just a real quick note, if you're somehow not familiar with the formula of Sonic games, Robotnik shows up at the end of every single level. He's not like Bowser, where you kind of got to wait to get to him. Like, he's always omnipresent. But, of course, he loses in Eggman the Human.
We don't like that!
So this plan was kind of small potatoes for him. He wanted to go onto South Island and steal the emeralds. Next, he's gonna found SpaceX. He's gonna become Elon Musk. He watched some Star Wars. He really liked the Death Star. So he's like, I'm just gonna make the Death Star egg, because I'm shaped like an egg.
Very creative.
Yeah.
Genius, in fact. And he also really wants the 7 Chaos Emeralds this
7?
time. There's one more. They found one more somewhere in the middle of that.
7. Where'd they find that 7 one?
Good question.
Now, Sonic 3. Now, Sonic 3. And now Sonic 3. He really wants the Master Emerald. He goes out to Angel Island, the Death Egg. He wants to get that crap back up in the sky, and he goes to Angel Island, and he meets this dumb grape eater. And he's like, hey, buddy, I'm the hero. That blue guy, he sucks. He's a villain. He's gonna steal your big emerald. He's already got 7 of them.
Fuck that guy. And you know what? The grape eater was right, because that guy is a dick and was going to steal his Chaos Emerald.
Exactly. So he manages to get his cool Death Egg off the ground for like a few seconds, and it promptly crashes back down onto Angel Island.
Thanks to a certain somebody we don't like in this crowd.
Now, of course, when we get to Sonic 3 and Knuckles, it is DLC pre the downloadable. You get to see the Egg Robo again. Probably has the best final boss fight in the series as he desperately flees from Sonic. It is absolutely fantastic. He manages to distract Sonic and Knuckles long enough in this game to steal the emeralds.
Again. And he tries to disappear with his emotional support emerald, but unfortunately, yet again, Sonic gets his ass. You don't like that.
Boo.
Boo is right! But you know what we do like? We like a little bit of a portable Eggman.
Exactly. Eggman would, of course, jump onto the Master System, and he would, of course, be on the Game Gear for the duration of its short battery life. Sonic's titular Triple Trouble, of course, is newly recruited Fang Knack.
It's both?
Both. And Robotnik hires him to take Sonic out. Sonic Chaos, he wants 6 emeralds.
6.
Sonic Blast, he wants 1 emerald.
Only one.
In Sonic 2, he kills Tails if you do not get all 5 Chaos Emeralds.
Yeah, that child
that
gets
child.
fucking killed.
And then, of course, we have to talk about Sonic Labyrinth real quick, where he sneaks into Sonic's home, puts his special Crocs of Doom on him that prevent him from going fast, and Sonic can't take it off unless he gets all of the emeralds. That's probably his greatest plan.
And again, he broke into Sonic's house just to put these inconvenient Crocs on him, and I'm like, why doesn't he just shoot him in his sleep if he's already
really?
there?
Like, what's going on? While we're on the subject of obscure egg appearances, of course, we have to talk about
Waku Waku Sonic Propaganda, aka Waku Waku Sonic Patrol Car. Now, this game is cute. You ever go to a convenience store or like a supermarket and you see those little drivable cars? Well, that was a video game. And Eggman just throws bombs at Sonic in his little patrol car.
Robotnik says ACAB.
Says ACAB. He hates the cops.
Now, again, just on the subject of obscure games, he really does not want you to eat popcorn.
He's trying to make sure that you are healthy, so he chases you around with a mallet in Sega Sonic Popcorn Shop, which is a cute little game. You just make popcorn.
It does make popcorn. It makes popcorn while you play it. That's the whole point of it. And I guess he's health conscious because he doesn't want you to eat popcorn. Sonic Schoolhouse. So you get numbers, you go through Sonic Schoolhouse, you gotta pick up numbers, then you add those numbers, and then when you run into Robotnik, he steals your numbers. He gets rid of all your progress. Does he hate education, or does he hate that it's Sonic Schoolhouse?
Maybe a mix of A, maybe it's a mix of B. I don't really think Sonic would be a great educator, personally.
Now we kind of bridge back into the main line, sort of, with Sonic CD.
You gotta work that sucker to death.
Come on!
Now this time, he really, really, really wants the Time Stones.
Really badly.
How is that different than the Chaos Emeralds? Well, the Time Stones even, they live on this place called Little Planet, which comes to this place called Never Lake once a year. Well, Robotnik thought it would be a really good idea to kind of capture the whole thing by putting a whole cage around an entire planet, which is ridiculous when you think about it. But then he goes, gets all the Time Stones, and he's like, what can I do with these? Oh, I'm gonna go back in time and establish myself as the emperor as I should be. So, in the bad future, quote unquote, bad future, I think that it's good, personally speaking, he establishes his gigantic army of robots to take over the world. But then again, Sonic has to come over and fuck his day up.
Exactly. Terrible. He actually, bro, I don't know if you've ever seen the ending cutscene to this game. I hope you have. Eggman, flies away. Sonic throws a rock at him, and he goes a boom. And he explodes into a smoke cloud that looks exactly like his face, looking sad. I wish I had that much aura when I die.
I was about to say. Also, he kidnaps a small child in this game, which I think is pretty evil.
And who kidnaps that small child? His greatest creation, Metal Sonic. Now, real quick about him, we're not going to talk about him a lot. He's Eggman's greatest creation. He is the perfect opposite of Sonic in every way. There are many robot Sonics. We could go over all that, but there is only one.
There is one Sonic, which transitions us into my personal favorite piece of Sonic media, which is the Sonic OVA, aka the Sonic movie before the movies came out. Can I get a hell yeah? Now, it's only 2 episodes. It was originally going to be picked up for an anime, but, people suck and they don't like things that are cool, so it never got picked up, but at least we got 2 episodes out of it, and they're both centric around Robotnik. In fact, the first episode's even called Welcome to Eggman Land. It starts off, Sonic's chilling out, he's just doing his thing, gets a call from this weird owl guy. He's like, hey, the president's being kidnapped right now by Eggman. He's got him at gunpoint. What are you going to do about it? Now, he decides to blackmail Sonic, like, hey, I need help right now. I'm going to kill these fuckers if you don't come up and clean up my mess. Metal Robotnik is on the rampage, and he's destroying my home in the world of darkness. You got to go clean it up, or I'm going to cap the president. And Sonic's like, well, we can't have that. So he goes, he beats the shit out of Metal Robotnik, and it was all actually a giant ploy.
It was a ploy?
It was to copy his personality, his wants, his needs, every single one, to create Metal Sonic, and that's where the next episode comes into play. It's just a lot of fighting, and it's pretty cool, but that...
But it compares, it does not compare to his greatest evil. Absolutely not.
Grooming.
Grooming. Boo! Boo! Single-handedly the most evil version of Eggman, solely because he tries to get this 14-year-old girl to marry him. You see her breastfeeding little Eggman babies? Why does the president forgive this?
I don't know. Father of the Year.
Father of the Year. Now, he was voiced, of course, by two different people in the OVA. We have Edwin Neal, who you might know as the Traveler in Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
And then we also have Junpei Takaguchi, who also provided his voice for different Eggman voiceover roles, but this is where he premiered.
Exactly. But, of course, while we're on the subject of animation, what we're about to talk about next came before this, but, we have to talk about the Deke cartoons.
Oh, yeah. Pop off, King.
So this is, of course, Sonic the Hedgehog, or as most people will call it, Sat-Am. Sat-Am. It's because it aired on Saturday mornings. ABC approached Deke, or one or the other way around, and they picked Sonic up as a cartoon that would only air on Saturday mornings. And Deke was like, well, we could make more money if we do it as a weekday show, but ABC didn't want to lose the show, the licensing agreement. So they decided, okay, what if we did 2 shows? What if we did one where Eggman was really goofy, and what if we did one where he's like Cobra Commander? So he is in Sat-Am. He's authoritarian. He turns Sonic's whole family into robots. He has this really menacing voice. He's a former general who becomes evil after his funding is cut off. You get to see him with his nephew Snively, who kind of pops up now and again. We have one Snively fan in the audience.
Yeah!
Exactly.
Someone's gotta love him.
Someone's gotta love him. This version was originally planned to have the Kintober origin. Ben Hurst, the writer for Sat-Am, intended him to be this evil guy who went up into a space colony with Snively, took it over, failed in doing so, and then when he gets back to Earth, discovers everyone has evolved into furries. Sega hated that. So they did not go through with that. But just speaking about the origins of this design, the design on the left was the original initial design. They really Deke went out of their way to go, ignore the sprites, just focus in on robotic Doctor. And then the design on the right would become the basis of both the Adventures design and the Sat-Am design. And then, of course, the Sat-Am design was reused in Sonic Underground. I don't know why you people are cheering for that.
There was already a panel about Sonic Underground earlier, I think today.
Yeah, you should have been. Yeah, if you want to learn more, if you want to learn more, you should have been at that.
Exactly. So we're just gonna keep on keeping on.
Well,
fellas.
I mean, we're gonna shout out someone real quick. We're gonna shout out Gary Chalk real quick. We reached out to multiple Robotnik voice actors for this panel. Gary Chalk is the only one who responded. Gary was not able to provide input on this panel because he is currently in battling cancer. But he does wish his fans well, and of course, we wish him well.
Can we get a cheer for Gary Chalk? Chalk even.
You might also know Gary Chalk. He is the voice of Grounder in Adventures. He's the voice of Robotnik in Underground, of course. And then if you saw Sonic with Jim Carrey, the first movie, he's the chief of staff of the Navy in that. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, speaking of Grounder.
Speaking of Grounder, here comes a big boy. Here comes an absolute unit. Absolute unit. Snoopingas. So, lot to talk about with this Robotnik specifically. He's really weird. He commands the bumbling Sonic Search and Smash Squad. His origin story lies in being rejected by his crush, which leads him to imprison her boyfriend for 30 years. He's romantically pursued by a bounty hunter. He has multiple robot wives. It means that's his first love interest officially. He has weird family members. His mom breaks out of an asylum to harass him. His cousin, Dr. Warpnik, was trapped in the zone of confusion. His Robotnik son, Robotnik Jr., betrays him to go hang out with Sonic. Absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Fuck that shit. Also,
now,
he canonically fucks.
He does canonically fuck. Now, something important to note here. Well, his schemes are largely like episodic. He wants to be on television. He's going to be a TV star. He wants the 4 Chaos Emeralds, you know. 4. Actually, when he gets the 4 Chaos Emeralds in this show, he becomes the mighty Supreme High Robotnik. Look at those abs. This is the first Robotnik super form ever. So, you know, cool. We can owe this portrayal largely to voice actor Long John Baldry, famous country singer. He actually set up the career of several talented artists, including one Reginald Dwight, Sir Elton John. He is actually the subject of Elton John's song "Somebody Saved My Life Tonight." And then, of course, we have Milton Knight, who was his designer and animator. He basically turned the initial design into the television's sexiest fat man. Now, see, again, with this design, what's interesting is that for some reason, America really loved this design. All the Western stuff, like, just focused on this design for years and years. They never really used the classic design in America. Why? I think it's because they had like a certain vision of Sonic they were trying to portray, and this guy is just a big, fat, ugly adult, and Sonic is the rebellious teenage youth. But while we're on this design, of course, we have to talk about Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. It's the best game we're talking about because it stars Robotnik. And it's not even his game.
It's Puyo Puyo!
It's Puyo Puyo. It's Puyo Puyo. It's Kirby's Avalanche. They thought it wouldn't sell, so they stuck Robotnik instead of some anime girls. This design is kind of out of use nowadays, but they still kind of reference it, and it's one of the most, like, commonly associated things with the character. You see the design pop up in Shadow Generations briefly. You know, you got the Mean Bean Coffee Shop in Sonic 2. Yeah. That's an Agent Stone fan.
We'll get to you guys later.
We'll get to you guys later. But enough about that. Let's get back to the games. Why does he look so weird in Spinball? What?
The fit goes crazy.
It does go kind of crazy. It's weird. He looks very angry, John. Thank you. I think it's bizarre that this game uses like the Sat-Am aesthetic. The Sat-Am characters show up, but they don't use the Sat-Am design for Robotnik. Just like they would not use it in Sega Sonic the Hedgehog, which was Japan exclusive. His sprites are in the files, and if they had a Western localization, it would have been Julian present instead of Evo. He imprisons mighty Sonic, Ray the Flying Squirrel, on his prison island, and he's going to execute them.
Yay! Cheer for that!
Absolutely, yeah. Thank goodness. Thank freaking goodness. Thank freaking goodness. Of course, not merely content with antagonizing Sonic, he antagonizes Knuckles in his one and only solo outing. Most people know this one because it's the debut of the Chaotix. It has that big, giant, red metal Sonic that looks really freaking cool. But Robotnik himself is pretty atypical in this game. But then, of course, he goes into 3D, not really.
It's like a 3D isometric kind of game. He just goes to an island, steals some flickies. It doesn't play very good, but it looks cool.
And it's not really 3D either. We get our first 3D Robotnik with this big boy.
The game for Robotnik's technical first playable version of himself.
In the coding, at least, he fights in a mech in the boss fight, but there was a version of him in the coding that would have fist fought, essentially, as a playable character. And in this game, he really wants the 8 Chaos Emeralds. 8. Because there are 8 playable characters, and they each have a Chaos Emerald you gotta collect.
He was playable in the PS version.
Yes, he was. They implemented it in the PS4 re-release with Honey. All right. So, just a quick overview of Robotnik in racing games, excluding a certain subseries we'll touch on later. Basically, he shows up in these racing games constantly, and he's sort of the Bowser of these things.
Slow but technical, good at doing turns. He's a big boy.
Exactly. A lot of these are pretty, like, plotless games. Of course, we get Sonic R, where he invents Metal Knuckles and Tails Doll, who are, of course, like, pretty popularly referenced in the canon. Of course, then this is kind of where we start to see, like, some pretty big changes. Namely, he's going to go under a little bit of a redesign. So the initial design for Robotnik in Adventure was just kind of the classic design, but they gave him like human proportions. But then, of course, we got to talk about this thing. They were going to give him the robot arm from Sat-Am at one point. I'm kind of glad they didn't. But, of course, since we're talking about Adventure, let's talk about Adventure.
Get a load of this!
Now, this is where they kind of, like, get rid of the Western canon, like, all that crap, Kintober, the evil rotten egg, whatever. Now he's just kind of Eggman. Now it's all one solid unified canon across every single region. They kind of lightly retcon him being called Robotnik by explaining that Robotnik is his real name here, and Eggman is just something funny that Sonic calls him, that which would later be confirmed years later, is just something Eggman decided he would adopt for his own usage. Canonical fat shaming.
Yeah, we don't like that.
We do not like that here.
Yeah,
Fuck that hedgehog. Fuck that hedgehog. Now, of course, in Eggman Adventure, he is mostly yelling. I don't know why. He's very calm and quiet in the next game, very sinister, but literally the first time you see him in this game, he is yelling from the top of a rooftop while Sonic is like right there and nothing really happens.
Also, how did he get up there?
How did he get up there? How did he get up there?
Did he climb?
Yeah, you know, Sonic is fast. He can run up walls. Yeah, I know. We'll touch on that. Thank you. Thank you. He builds a lot of neat crap in this game. He builds the egg carrier, which has its own bathroom. It's a master bedroom. The password, of course, to get into all of these areas is Eggman. He claims to have an IQ of 300.
300 IQ, everybody.
300
IQ. With themselves,
300 IQ. He unleashes Chaos, a giant water monster from the Master Emerald, and Gamma, of course. And he tricks that stupid Grape Eater again. Now, he's gonna rule over Station Square by feeding Chaos emeralds, but of course he loses control of this. This is a trope. This is a trope.
This will come back, and you will recognize it.
Exactly.
It was very funny.
Now, Naota, he would go later on and be like, "Oh, Eggman's not that bad of a guy. Look at him in Adventure. He protects the world from enemies." No, he only does that to Chaos because Chaos screwed him over. He tries to nuke Station Square, and then Tails stops him. Honestly, nuking Station Square probably would have been a better plan to begin with. I don't know why he didn't just
I
do
actually
that.
think the destruction level would have been a little less for that.
Now, just one more thing we have to touch on before we leave the adventure. Why does he have all this art? Why does he have an erotic art collection?
He is a man of culture and taste.
He really likes buff men. He does not even stick his own head on these statues. Eggman Yowie. Now, of course, hot Eggman Yowie.
I will get there, all right.
Now, of course, during this era, he gets, Dean Bristow, who, in my opinion, is still the definitive Eggman voice to this day.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
And we have Chikaya Otsuka, who served as his voice actor for quite some time until his unfortunate passing in 2015.
Yes, absolute legend. Now, of course, there's a quick little break here. He basically shows up to a Sonic party, tries to ruin it. This game has a really complicated plot, but he really only shows up to piss in your cereal every once in a while. And for that matter, he has a lot of fits in this game.
The drips.
The drip. Look at that drip. Look at him. Look at that fucking, what's this wizard design he's got? That's incredible. Now, of course. Now, after Adventure, after Shuffle, there's one game that's pretty famous for its usage of Eggman, and of course that's Eggman Adventure 2, the one where he pulls a Glock out and holds it to Amy's head.
Now, this is arguably Robotnik at the top of his game. He is threatening as hell. And it's also his first time as a major playable character.
In a mainline game. Of course, he was in the racing games and whatever, but this is a mainline game where you have to play as Robotnik if you want to beat the game. He was originally going to be the only mech playable character, and the whole plot is about him, basically.
It's about him and his family.
Exactly.
And his trauma. Now, his original gameplay for this game is you walk around a giant mech, it's really slow, you use a little laser pointer to point at enemies, you rack up points doing that, and it's very satisfying.
And All the little noises he makes in that game are very satisfying. I don't know if you've ever experienced the little
Oh yeah, when you rack up a ton of points, he does this really deep evil laugh, and it's so ASMR.
It's so good. It's so good.
Well, let's get into the meat and gravy
Now
of this
into the
bad
meat
boy.
and potatoes of this. Of course, it's all about him and his grandfather. He uses the research his grandfather developed to release his ultimate weapon, Shadow the Hedgehog. Shadow informs Eggman of the existence of his grandpa's old lab, of course, and then how could he refuse that offer? How could he possibly refuse that?
Now, this Eggman does not fuck around. He goes hard. He is threatening as fuck.
He is threatening as fuck.
This guy manages to threaten the entire planet to the point where the entire world basically had to band together for 24 hours to avoid literally getting destroyed.
Literally, that would never happen. That would never happen in real life. If Eggman came down and was like, I blew up the moon, you gotta give me control of the world, he would just blow up the earth. Like, they wouldn't do anything to stop that.
And he doesn't even stop there. So this is the one where he infamously kidnaps Amy and holds her at gunpoint.
With a Glock
With
to
a
the
Glock, with a
head.
giant scope, too.
And then he outsmarts Tails. He outsmarts Tails. That is probably his best moment. He literally is like, Tails, that's a fake emerald. And Tails is like, how'd you know? And Eggman's like, you just fucking told me, loser.
The biggest know you in video game
Literally,
history.
like, he's very successful. He did not know Sonic could use chaos control. He would have fucking blown that motherfucker up in space.
And he was close. He was that close.
He was that close.
And
And yet, in spite of that, he saves the world.
He's a hero.
He's a hero. We all know he's a hero. We all know he's a hero.
So his grandfather decides to reprogram the Ark when the 7 Chaos Emeralds gets placed into them to crash directly into the Earth as revenge for killing his granddaughter, the one that he actually gives a shit about, not Eggman.
Not Eggman.
We don't like that.
Boo,
Parental neglect is cringe.
Nope, absolutely
So
not.
he actually teams up with Sonic and friends to save the world, and I guess it was a good enough ploy to make him get completely pardoned by the president.
Yeah, like, has he ever gone to jail?
Would he survive in jail?
Yeah. See, like, I like how we were definitely prepared to say no, and then everyone's like, yes, he would. He would absolutely survive jail. It's true. Just one more thing before we leave this game.
Yosh.
Can I get a yosh?
Yosh.
Now, of course, once we leave the... quick note about him in the Chow Garden. They took him out of the Chow Garden. This version of Eggman you can only have playable in the Chow Garden. And they make him run around like stages designed for Sonic. And it's the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen. I absolutely love it.
He zips around crazy.
I absolutely
Also,
love it.
he hugs Chow by shaking them like a fucking
You can literally, you can have him throw him at the wall and it's just like, boy. Now, of course, dear Sonic Heroes, guess what, Sonic Heroes? Why does he invent talking letters in this game? Now, the thing about him in this game is that he's not actually the main villain. It's Metal Sonic masquerading as Eggman after getting really fed up. He locks Eggman in a cell, and then Eggman actually has to hire Team Chaotix in their returning appearance to get him out of jail.
And he's a feminist.
He's a feminist. He's a feminist. He is absolutely a feminist.
And a self-professed gentleman.
A self-professed gentleman. I would self-profess that. I would self-profess that. Just a regular gentleman. Just a regular gentleman. Now, of course, just a quick veer back into animation because this is important. We get Sonic X. Now, this show was so popular that it made Gotta Go Fast his catchphrase. It gaslit everyone into believing Sonic just says gotta go fast as a thing. Of course, they're sent to another planet in this show. You kind of get the Scratch and Grounder template with Deco and Boko. The first 2 seasons are fairly straight adaptations of adventure stuff, except there's this annoying kid there. And then there's a 3rd season funded by 4 kids, fun fact, where he fights aliens and he's all, that's a great show, not really. But of course, at this time, we get Mike Pollock. That's quite a guy. That's quite a guy. That's quite a guy. I'm noticing a lot less cheers. You know, we picked out the most Eggman-esque picture we possibly could. He tweeted something really controversial. He said Sonic Adventure 2 was a bad game. So So it's just one thing to say. He has longevity. It's not a bad voice actor. He still voices Eggman to this day, and of course, he survived multiple recasts. Like the entire cast except him would just get wiped out and recast like twice now. Now, of course, Mike Pollock's game debut is, you know what they say, the more the merrier! In Shadow the Hedgehog, of course, he's not the main villain. The main villain is Black Doom, an alien warlord from Shadow's past.
Well, he can be a villain in some routes. It's a multi-route game.
It's a multi-route game, and sometimes helping Eggman will give you hero points, and sometimes it'll give you villain points. But he's trying to gaslight Shadow throughout this game. He actually saves Shadow after his supposed sayonara in Adventure 2. And how does Shadow repay him? By fucking karate chopping his skull to death in at least 3 different
He dies
endings.
in this game sometimes.
He dies in this game. It's insane.
Also, he creates probably the stupidest invention of his life.
Yeah, oh god, the egg deal, not Shadow Fever! Why does he program that? Now, of course, we have to talk real quick about Sonic Riders. This whole little sub-series, Eggman is organizing tournaments basically as cover to get ancient Babylonian treasure, artifacts, whatever else. He punches through cars in this game. He smacks others out of the way with his evil microphone, and he does some very Wario-esque things that I'm going to make sure to show you. Don't worry. At this time, of course, Sega is third party, and Eggman is on Game Boy. He shows up in Sonic Battle, attempting to take control of a learning robot known as Emerald, who was discovered by his grandfather. And then in the Sonic Advance trilogy, he makes a lot of different plots, but mostly people remember Sonic Advance 3, where he tries to recreate Emerald as Gemrold, who kind of keeps showing up in like IDW comics and whatnot.
But he also premieres in a turn-based game, Sonic Chronicles, which is actually made by BioWare. This is the one with the poop music.
Terrible music in this game. Terrible music. He's a temporary party member, though.
He is. He's another game where Eggman is playable. It ends with a cliffhanger, and we will never get another sequel. Fuck you, Ken Penders.
Fuck
by
you,
the way.
Ken Penders. Boo! Now, speaking of the DS, of course, we get Eggman Rush at this point. Now, of course, in this game, Eggman teams up with another version of himself who has some kind of name. You know,
We're not gonna say it.
It's
We'll
some
never
kind
beat the
of really
allegations.
negative name. I don't really, I don't know anything about it. But he teams up with, of course, this other Eggman, and they're under the guise of a robotic pirate in Sonic Rush Adventure, of course. But I mean, who exactly is this guy?
Yeah, who is he? Is he like an alternate version of Robotnik? Is he just like a guy who likes to dress like him?
Well, he's like, sometimes they say he's Eggman's like direct descendant. Like sometimes he's from a different dimension and sometimes he's from the future, but you're never going to see him again, so we'll never really know. All right, so we get to 2006. Oh God, it's 2006, Eggman, and why do you look like that? Succulent egg nipples! Now, of course, he is seeking the flames of disaster in this game, and he really wants those flames of disaster. His plans fall apart just like the game itself, and he actually dies when the egg carrier explodes, but the timeline is altered, so not really.
Yeah, jump scare warning.
Jump scare warning. Why does he look like that? Why does he look like that? What are those eyes? What are we doing? Oh God. They decided that the humans in this game would look really realistic. And bald, my eyes! Now, of course, they quickly rescind this, and he's in Sonic Unleashed, of course, and they have this really beautiful freaking cutscene at the start of the game.
Incredible! Pixar level, even.
Exactly. He traps Supersonic, he saps his power, and then he immediately, destroys the Earth with it, just breaks it into segments. Sonic is turned into the Werehog as a result of this, and at the end, he's pretty close. He's got Eggman Land, and he just needs to kill Sonic, so he builds this thing, the Egg Dragoon, which is probably his coolest mech. Let's be real. Let's be real here for a second.
He's a man of many talents also, as we learn in
Sports.
Sports.
He wins. He wins the Olympics. If you are playing as him, he wins. He wins.
Peak
That's
male
it.
physique.
Exactly.
That's all you need
Male
to know.
physique. Not only did Eggman win the Olympics, he won love at the Olympics. Eggman and Bowser go on a really romantic date, sightseeing in London. Eggman refers to Bowser as dashingly good looking. I think, Eggman, not a lot of people could handle him. I think Bowser could handle him.
100%, but could Bowser handle Eggman?
They're both gay single dads. I think Eggman had a really good time seeing London. But it's fine. But meanwhile, speaking of Nintendo, the storybook series only exists because Sega didn't want to port 06 to Wii. Eggman appears in the first game as King Salazar in the Arabian Nights lore. He's not actually Eggman, he just kind of looks like Eggman. And then, of course, I would put a slide in for Sonic and the Black Knight if Eggman appeared in it.
It's the only mainline Sonic game that does not have Eggman in it.
It's true.
We don't like that.
Boo. Now, of course, after this, we have to get to Baldy McNosehair Colors. Kind of fun game. Some of the Sonic lines are a little cringe, but some of Eggman's lines are really funny.
Oh,
in this
yeah. I think he's the highlight.
Again, it's a little Marvel, the writing, but he's very funny in it. It's very funny. And Mike Pollock is actually probably at his best in this game. But then you get consistent theming where Eggman is generally the best part of the game and Sonic is the worst. Because in Sonic Lost World, he's really great. He is really great. He unleashes the Deadly Six using a magic conch shell, gets betrayed by the Deadly Six, and teams up with Sonic, drives a wedge between Sonic and Tails pretty successfully, and then he just takes back the main villain role in a twist on a twist. And then, of course, now the Deadly Six drive go-karts for him. Thanks, Zavok. Fuck Zavok. Fuck Zavok. Boo! Zavok was a terrible worker with Eggman, but who was really good with Eggman? Eggman.
Himself.
Now,
we call that self-love, right?
Yeah, it's actually a little gay. He literally goes, "Oh, you want to team up, my dear doctor? Absolutely, my dear doctor."
My own clone. Now neither of us will be virgins.
The two of them collectively create the Time Eater and tear time and space apart. At this time, you of course get Classic Robotnik back. Just Classic Sonic kind of comes back as its own sub-entity. He makes a really, really memorable appearance in Sonic Mania, of course, where he clashes against the hard-boiled heavies, who are basically Eggman robots. And then, of course, you see the Classic Robotnik then return in Sonic Superstars. But then we have this guy, and I think that Sonic Boom has a lot of fans. Sonic Boom has a lot of fans still. This design, I think it has a lot of merit. It kind of has, a military general thing going on, but in all reality, he's just kind of the annoying neighbor in this canon, which I think is fine. He shows up at Sonic's house and crashes every once in a while.
Where's his tummy?
Fat erasure. Oh, really? Okay, there you go.
Oh, they answered that.
Anti-fat. And then, of course, we get another Sonic animated show, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Sonic battles a multi-dimensional console of Eggman who rule over New York City. This is not as cool as it sounds. I promise you.
Speaking of things not being as cool as they sound, hot takes up in this house. Yeah, Forces was a game, but this one's cool because he actually succeeds in his goal of establishing the Eggman Empire. He takes over the world. He gets Sonic's old friends or enemies to just kind of show up, but not really. It's kind of lame, honestly.
Did you know that he dismantles gun in this game? He literally gets rid of Guardian Unit of Nations, which has been an integral part of the canon. It's in movie 3, and now they're just they don't exist anymore in the canon. A-cab.
Immediately following this kind of mid-game, we get one that I really like, actually. We have Eggman at our most sympathetic.
Exactly.
This is one of the few games where you actually start to get a little bit of an insight on how Eggman thinks. You literally Big the Cat. You fish out little memos from him, and he just starts talking about how he feels inadequate based on his in comparison to his cousin Maria, his relationship with his AI daughter Sage. Now, this game is really cute because he actually forms a bond with her, and it's very adorable to kind of watch it play out throughout the whole course of the game.
Now, to be fair, I kind of agree with Ian Flynn's interpretation too, where it's kind of about him loving his own genius. Like, he's like, of course I'm smart enough to make a life. Of course, it's my daughter because I'm smart enough to make a daughter. You know, like, it's just an extension of him loving himself too, but I also think there is a little bit of genuine love there. And then, of course, the last appearance of Eggman mainline right now is Sonic Dream Team for Apple devices. This is very Mario-esque. He actually kind of like takes over the dream realm, starts warping it. He transforms into a giant nightmare Eggman for Sonic to battle one-on-one, which is a little bit of a turn for him to take. Now, where's Eggman gonna go in the future? No idea. No idea. Yeah, well, he's right there. You know, he's right there. He's right there. But I mean, in the Sonic franchise, he's going places. But of course, we got to talk briefly about his past here. He was in several Little Golden books. This is the origin of No Fun Allowed. Milton Knight's design shows up many, many a times. It's absolutely weird. It's still the Sat-Am continuity, but then the Adventures design shows up, just like in the Fleetway comics. That guy loves Fleetway. That guy loves Grimsley. You know, this is very weird because they start with like the original black hollowed eyes design. Then he goes into an egg, incubates, and hatches as the Milton Knight design, except huge and intimidating like the Hulk. It's bizarre. The comic goes on for so long that you get to see this design in the adventure outfit, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool, all things considered. But why didn't Tails take the shot?
There's literally a target directly on his bag.
Why didn't he take the shot? Why didn't he take the shot?
Lee Harvey Power.
He could have saved everyone. Prower. But Archie, real quick, we're running out of time here. This is Robo-Robot. Well, it's not Robo-Robotnik. This is the real, genuine Robotnik. He later gets usurped by a robotic doppelganger from another dimension after being eradicated by Sonic. This one was a little bit of a fop. He wasn't evil enough to manufacture a dentist bot. I don't really know like why he hates the dentist, but I guess he does. But then after this, you of course get Robo-Robotnik, who technically becomes the real Robotnik in the Archie canon. He's an evil robot from another dimension, basically Eggman, who turned himself into a robot to kill Sonic. He comes back into Sonic's world to fill the voids in both of their lives. But the most important thing about Archie that we have to mention is that he dated Dr. Wily. It was wonderful. It was absolutely wonderful. They were a little gay. They rode bikes around. They drunk wine, and it's not canon anymore. Thanks, Ken Penders.
Yep.
Oh! And then of course we get IDW at this point, where he is an absolute freaking menace.
Oh, he's intimidating as hell. Now it starts right after Sonic Forces, after the Eggman Empire has been established, and he goes into hiding. But he's not actually going into hiding. He has amnesia, and he thinks he's this cute, kind guy named Mr. Tinker, and he just kind of wants to make toys for children until this twink platypus decides to rekindle his memories of being Eggman, and then at that point it's just kind of downhill from there. In fact, they decide to the most notable storyline from this comic is probably the Zombot crisis.
He literally turns the village where he was hiding out into Zombots just immediately.
Does not fuck around.
Does not fuck around.
Also, look at those shadows.
Absolute.
Then we got Mr. Boss over here.
Mr. Boss, of course, from Smiling Friends, appeared in the gag manga Sonic Dash Spin. The most important thing about this, he did another really evil thing. He tricked Sonic into peeing on camera. And of course, Eggman's new famous movie, the Hyperspeed Heroes Hidden Shame 9/11. Why did he do that?
Now we're moving on to the last real big piece of Sonic media, which is the movie!
It's Jimbo!
They somehow managed to get Jim fucking Carrey to be Eggman.
3 times!
3 times! He got himself out of retirement 3 times, possibly a 4th if we're lucky.
Hopefully.
This Eggman is just very goofy, he's silly, he's very obsessed with himself. Also, he's very gay.
He's very gay.
Whatever is going on with Agent Stone and him is like...
It's pretty gay. It's pretty gay. It's pretty gay. He actually starts out as a pretty regular government agent, kind of eccentric. He wipes out a whole country. Then he eats like Sonic's quill and turns crazy.
Yeah, you should. For the record, MAGFest advice: do not put things that you find on the floor in your mouth, like Eggman does.
Do not do that. Do not do that. You're a problem. All right, so Sonic 2. Sonic 2, he's back. He trips. He's back! He tricks a local grape eater into thinking Sonic is the bad guy. Sound familiar? He steals an emerald. Sound familiar? Great movie, better than the first one. We have to go, quick spoiler warning, Sonic 3, spoilers, too bad you're gonna hear spoilers, so I hope you're fucking ready, because Sonic 3, double the villains, double the fun.
This time we got Gerald Robotnik in the picture. He basically has nice little family bonding moments with him.
Exactly. Wonderful, wonderful family time. Gerald does not get executed by a fire squad in this version.
He doesn't get shot.
Exactly.
It's a little different.
It's a little loose adaptation. He spanks Eggman repeatedly. You know, good for them. Good for them. But
the most important aspect of this movie is probably the ending, where he ends up sacrificing himself to save the world, kind of similar to how it is in Sonic Adventure 2. And then he makes a big love confession, essentially, to Agent Stone at the end of it. So,
yeah.
Yowie.
It's gay. It's gay. It's gay. Eggman Yowie. Toxic Eggman Yowie, the one we eat. Speaking of Yowie, what are we talking about Yowie for? We're still on the subject of movies. Is he Disney canon?
Where is he in Kingdom Hearts?
Where is he in Kingdom Hearts?
Where is he in Kingdom Hearts, everyone?
Where is he in Kingdom Hearts? Real quick diversion to internet media for a second. Pingus. Now, specifically the Adventures version, he gains new appreciation in YouTube poop culture in 2006. Pingus is derived from the phrase Snooping as usual, which then gets shortened into Snoopingus, Pingus, you know, referenced multiple times in Archie, referenced in Sonic Boom. Pretty consistent. The YouTube poop stuff is great. I'd love to play it, but we're not going to. Look up Win the Race on YouTube, please.
Or Tomorrow Owl.
We got 5 minutes left, people. We still haven't even talked about Snapcube. Now, of course, he's voiced by Alfred Colburn in this version. He gets a lot of really memorable quotes. You can say them with us. You fool! I have 70 alternative accounts. I miss my wife, Tails. I miss her a lot. I've come to make an announcement. Shadow the Hedgehog is a bitch-ass motherfucker, etc., etc., etc.
Now we're gonna start moving into some of the quick Q&A.
Yeah, we want to do a quick Q&A. Where does Eggman get his money from? What does he do? Where does he get his money from?
The government. I think it's a government contract.
The government. He definitely has some government contracts. What are you trying to say to me?
His OnlyFans.
Well, he does have Eggman Inc. He probably makes some toys on the side. What does he do on his days off?
Jerk off.
He jerks off. Well, he eats a lot. You know, he's constantly freaking snacking. You look at the Sonic Channel art there, he's always eating. Why doesn't he just deck Sonic?
I think he likes the thrill of the hunt, personally.
You saw him punch those cars. I mean, like, he can't really kill Sonic. I think they got a little Batman-Joker codependency going on with each other. Is he faster than Sonic? Yes.
Yes. He is.
Yes,
he outruns him in every Sonic game.
Absolutely he does. Where's the destroyed half of the moon? And they turned it around. Shut up. I will not accept that when a half-destroyed moon would be a great feature of this world.
The most important question.
Is he gay? Yeah. Yeah, we're going to say yes.
At least pansexual.
Yes, absolutely. At the very least, pansexual. He faces rejection by all possible genders. Is he a war criminal?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely he is. Why did he fart on people in Sonic Riders? You know?
He's not Wario.
He's not Wario. Is he a good dad? Debatable. Absolutely debatable. Who's the best lackey? Who's the best lackey?
I I say Stone.
Is it, wait, when you people say Stone, do you mean Stone the agent or Stone the Stone? But he needed to do some rock reconnaissance. Is that the same answer? Who's the best love interest? Who's the best love interest?
And we're about to ask the most important question of this entire panel.
Yes, the most important question of this panel. The most important question. Which of them has the best grippers? Who has the best grippers? Who has the best grippers? I'm going to say it's Adventures. Some people would say it's Tokyo. Which one has the best cake? Who has the best cake?
It's Adventures. Literally has to lift his ass to sit down.
They draw his ass crack so much in Adventures. It's kind of bizarre. Lastly, which one is the most fuckable?
Who is the most... I think it's Sonic 06 because those nipples don't fucking quit.
Those nipples do not quit, and I would love to look into those eyes. Thank you for joining us for Dr. Eggman and his